Good evening. Welcome to the QCIS channel, where you get your daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. My name is Leon Jones, and this evening, I want to get into something that deals with, some people will say construction, but it's basically for every type of material. And what I'm going to talk about this evening is projects, and everything you do is a project. But what goes with projects? Project standards and specifications. So tonight, title of this video is, what are project standards and specifications? What are project standards and specifications? Let me share my screen. Now, when we deal with standards and specifications, we're talking about documents that describe and or recommend a set of rules and conditions for how materials and products should be manufactured, defined, measured, or tested. Standards are used to establish minimum levels of performance and quality and optimal conditions and procedures for the purpose of ensuring compatibility of products and services from different sources. Now, when I talk about different sources, some of your specifications, particularly in the construction industry, come from ACI, that's the American Concrete Institute. It could also come from the American Society for Testing and Materials. And when it comes to standards and specifications, they may tell you to refer to one another. In other words, you may have a specification in section 400, and it'll tell you to refer back to 100, or section 100, check out section 400. Now, specifications tend to have more limited applications than standards and generally establish requirements for materials, products, and or services. Now, standards and specifications may be issued by voluntary technical or trade organizations, professional societies, national standards bodies, government agencies, and or international organizations. Now, the library has only a limited number of standards. Again, the library has only a limited number of industry standards and specifications in its collections. Again, when we deal with standards and specifications, some of the organizations are ANSI, AASHTO, ASHRAE, and ASME, the American Society for Mechanical Engineers. Now, I'm not going to do too much talking, but I'm going to show you exactly what standards and specifications look like. Now, again, these are brand new specifications and standards used by NDOT, an employer I used to work for, the Indiana Department of Transportation. Now, the standard specifications, as you see, they have a cover, they have all the divisions. Now, each division has something within that specification. So if I'm out there doing a project, I have to refer to some of these specifications. Also, when it comes to paying a contractor, because a lot of the contracts are unit cost contracts. So you have what we call quantities, and the quantities are in pounds each, linear feet, cubic yards. And one thing I can tell you about standards and specifications, they do change. Now, I know when I worked for PennDOT, There was a pub called the 408. The 408 was the Pennsylvania or the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation Standards and Specifications, called Pub 408. Here for Indiana, it's just the Indiana specifications. Now, let's go and see what's in these specifications. Okay, in the cover, these are your technical specifications from NDOT 2022, hot off the press. And of course, you basically have everybody that was involved in creating these standards and specifications. Again, they change every 2 years in Indiana. You deal with your measurements. Also, you deal with your conversion factors, because on a construction project, you deal with area. Area is in square yards. Now, how do I get square yards? Well, right here, these conversion factors tell you how you can do it. You have square yards, you have cubic yards when you deal with volume. You have temperature. Now, as an engineer, when you take your FE examination, you need to know these units of measurement. Next video, I'm going to talk about units of measurement and how to convert each unit of measurement. In fact, I'm going to do them for you using an Excel spreadsheet. You have your general notes. Now, your general notes have some information that you need to know, because you're going to have to use these specifications. Again, when I told you earlier about sources, well, you have one. And this is a key reference, ASTM S110, American National Standard for the Use of International System of Units, known as SI. Your SI units are newtons, kilograms, meters per second, which equals a newton. They're all metric. Centimeters, cubic meters. But one thing that's good about these specifications, it's got information. Now you need to check the table of contents. Why do I say that? Because most people don't tab out their specifications, so you might get a question from a contractor. Now, even if you're not working on a DOT project, you could be working in a factory making widgets. I guarantee their standards and specifications as well. They operate the same day. Now, contracts are made based off of these specifications. That's why it's very important to understand what the table of contents is saying. Now, what I'm going to do is take you to some of the sections of the Indiana Department of Transportation standards and specifications. Now, if I want to know some general provisions, this is where all your acronyms are. Remember, I mentioned AASHTO. If you don't know what AASHTO is, you go to your general provisions and you'll find out what AASHTO stands for. These are all your acronyms. AASHTO is the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. ASTM, I mentioned that. American Society for Testing and Materials. ASCE, the American Society of Civil Engineers. These are very important if you're going to take an exam. If you want to be a, let's say, a stormwater inspector, you're going to hear the word CESWE. Well, what is CESWE? CESWE is the Certified Erosion Sediment and let me make a correction. CESWE is the Certified erosion sediment and stormwater inspector. That's an exam that you take so you can inspect all of the sediment and erosion control when you're out there in the field doing stormwater inspections. They're building stormwater infrastructure. All this is important. You have COE, the Corps of Engineers. And there's a lot of other information in this book to help you get through your project. Again, you have weather, above normal inclement weather days. You have it in this book. You have your bid bond. If you want to know what a bridge is, it's going to tell you a structure including supports erected over a depression or an obstruction such as water, a highway, or a railway, having a track or passageway for carrying traffic or other moving loads, and having a length measured along the center of roadway more than 20 feet between undercopings of abutments or extreme ends or multiple boxes. That's what these specifications are telling you. Now, let's say if I want to go into earthwork. Earthwork is very important. Now, again, I am giving you an example of what's in the NDOT specifications. If you are from another state and you work for state DOT, you have specifications as well. If you work in the manufacturing industry, you have specifications as well. Now, here, when we deal with earthwork, here's what you get in the clearing and grubbing section. And a lot of important information is highlighted. So clearing and grubbing, section 201, is under the subsection, section 201.01. And under the description for clearing and grubbing, it states that this work shall consist of clearing, grubbing, removing, and disposing of all vegetation and debris within the construction limits shown on the plans, except such objects that are designed to remain or are to be removed in accordance with other sections of these specifications. Now, you notice what I said, with other sections of the specifications. Again, specifications refer to other specifications. Also, specifications refer to sections within the same specifications. Now, again, when you're building the contract, and I'm going to show you that later on, because a lot of this information I'm going to do is going to come from the construction industry, because that's what I know. Also, you have your pay items. It's very important, because when a contractor does work, you're going to have to pay them by a certain unit. Now, clearing and grubbing is done by an acre. Clearing a right of way, lump sum, scalping, acre. When you remove something, it's in each item. Again, those items tell you how the contractor is going to be paid. Again, area basis. The determined quantities will be paid at the contract price per acre, respectively, for each of the pay items shown in the schedule of pay items. Again, this is just basic. I'm just giving you an overview of what is in specifications. Of course, I'm doing the NDOT specifications. Let me take you to another section, because in everything you do, you're going to have to understand codes. You're going to have to understand specifications, drawings, because when you are manufacturing projects or manufacturing materials, or when you are a supplier, you have to follow these. And again, specifications, standards, they will be changing. There's somebody right now sitting up in the office getting ready to put together changes for the 2024 edition. You want to keep your specifications and standards up to date because technology is always moving fast and forward. You want to understand what goes on with concrete pavement. Here it is right here. Gives you the quality control, gives you the materials. If you want to know where to find all the materials, again, these are the sections where you find all of the materials. Now, materials are in section 500. But if I need to go to find admixtures in the same specification, I'm going to go to section 900. This is where all of your materials are. And the good thing about specifications is they help you refer to different sources. So somebody's just not making these specifications up. They're utilizing other sources, like AASHTO. It tells you how to test it. Air and train Portland blast furnace slag cement. These are under the AASHTO specifications. But when it comes to any type of specifications, you need to understand that you need plans and specifications. Now, what I just showed you were the NDOT specifications. Let me find some other specifications. Manufacturing specifications. Just bear with me. Now again, when we deal with manufacturing specifications, got some examples right here. In your manufacturing specifications, let's say if we're going to make pizza, here's what you're going to use. The sensory characteristics. It'll be golden brown with crispy texture, specific dimensions. Now, one thing I will tell you about specifications, what accommodates specifications and standards, you're going to have standard drawings. And that's what this specification is telling you, because you're dealing with weight, size, and shape. Names of ingredients, the size to which ingredients must be used, size of grated cheese, nozzle size for icing, cooking temperatures. And this is just making a pizza. Total cost of ingredients, specific qualities required, specific packaging requirements, label information and warning. That is a manufactured specification. Now again, product specification examples, selling price, dimensions, allergens, usage, packaging, storage, shelf life, allergens. So you see specifications everywhere, not just in the construction industry. Let me take you to some other manufacturer specifications. Now, again, what are 4 parts of manufacturer's specifications? Well, they give you 6 right here. Description of the material, workmanship, tools and plants, protection of new work, expression, and a clause of specifications. Now, again, when it comes to specifications, and a lot of this deals with engineering, there are 4 types of specifications. So you have to decide what you're going to use. So when it comes to the four types, you're going to have descriptive, performance, reference standard, and proprietary. And choosing how the specification is going to be written is only the first of many design decisions engineers make it when starting to edit what will become a project specification, especially when specifying. Now, let me stop there and give you an idea, because you have your standards and you have your specifications. Both overlap. Both are definitely needed. Now, when I actually have standards, and I'm going to utilize the Indiana Department of Transportation, that book that you saw with the standards, that's for the whole state. So you can go around to any area of the state of Indiana. Those standards are going to be the same. Now, the specifications, when they talk about limited, what they're really telling you is they're limited to that project. So in other words, specifications are basically standards, but standards for a specific project. That's why they call them project specifications. Again, specifications have common types: requirement specifications, design specifications, material specifications, standard specifications, interface specifications, test specifications, performance specifications, and of course, quality specifications. And again, when you deal with specifications, you're dealing with something that is going to be used to make sure that you have manufacturers or suppliers and even contractors following rules to ensure that they have a quality product and a product that is safe. And without any standards and specifications, you can make any type of product, and I guarantee a number of those products will be defective products. And standards and specifications keep everything consistent. Let me give you an example. And I'm going to say in a perfect world, if you go to McDonald's, every McDonald's has the same recipe. So that means if I go to McDonald's in Florida, I'm going to get the same recipe as I would get at a McDonald's here in Indiana, because they have standards, they have specifications. And if you're an inspector, you're dealing with quality control, you need to understand those specifications and standards. You need to enforce them. Because at the end of the day, the job of anybody involved in quality control is to make sure that that product is fulfilling the customer demands, the customer needs, and customer satisfaction. Because it costs money to design and manufacture projects. Also, you want to make sure the project that you are working on is going to be safe. You want to make sure that product that you're designing is going to be safe, because if you don't follow standards and specifications, you will be liable for a lawsuit. And lawsuits cost money, and lawsuits can raise the prices of goods and services, and lawsuits can also hurt your reputation as a government agency or private entity. And that concludes this topic on standards and specifications. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some social issues and some political content, you can check my main channel out, the 411 Talk Zone radio show. Now, if you cannot find the 411 Talk Zone radio show or the QCIS channel here on YouTube, you can check both channels out, QCIS channel and the 411 Talk Zone radio show channel on Twitter. And to take it a step further, since this channel is an educational and a professional channel, I also upload videos from the QCIS channel to my LinkedIn page. So once again, I thank you for listening to the QCIS channel. On this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you to have a wonderful and gracious evening.